Before this video starts, reminder that today is the last day to enroll into my new workshop, Price and Sell Your Services. If you need help creating your services, pricing your services, or selling your detailing services, you can click the first link in the description box to learn more and enroll. Let's get started with the video. Welcome back to another video. On this one, I'm gonna answer some of your questions that I asked in a recent Q&A. So I'll go over a few questions. I don't know how long it's gonna be because sometimes I can talk rather long for just one simple question. So we'll kick off this Q&A with a great question is, how much should I charge for an exterior wash and basic interior cleaning? So I get this question all the time, like, hey, is this a good price? Hey man, I live in Missouri. Hey man, I'm in Rhode Island. Hey man, I'm in Canada. Hey man, I'm in Ireland. Are these good prices? And look, I don't know what you can charge because that's your area. I don't know your confidence in your skills. I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what you want to do. There's so many things that I don't know that I can't give you a hey, so that should be about $40, man. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know that, dude. So people ask me like, hey, are prices different in Texas than they are in California? I'm like, dude, the detailer down the street has different prices than me, right? So if the guy down the street is charging 50% less than what we are, how can I tell you that your pricing is good based on what I know around my area? So I don't know what you should charge, right? I can only give you the guidelines to follow in terms of hey, do this and do that, but I can't give you a specific number because that's out of my reach. I don't know what that entails. I don't know how long you take. I don't know everything about your business. So you have to have the confidence. And even if you don't have the confidence, at least have the confidence in your mistakes that you will set the pricing and you will adjust accordingly. But I can't tell you an exact price. So, you might be asking, well, hey, is $30 good for a wash? I'm like, if you want the best way to know if you're charging too much or too little, is go out and sell the service, right? If you're like, hey, is $800 too much for a paint correction job? Are people paying $800 for your paint correction jobs? If they are, well, then it's not too much. Right? Hey, is $1,400 too much for a paint correction and coating? Well, if they're paying for it, it's obviously not too much, right? And then it's like, well, are you targeting the right people, right? Because if you're trying to sell a steak to someone that can only afford a bag of chips, no matter what you say, how you present it, that person can't afford your steak. Whereas if you take your steak to people that want steaks, it's much easier. You don't have to sell it that much. You just put a few little bows and ties on it. You just say a few things here and there, and you can sell it. All right, next question is, how do you detail interiors faster? Well, it's gonna come down to just looking at your system and seeing where are the bottlenecks. I would prefer most people start off with the bare essentials and upgrade as needed versus starting with all the tools and products and machines. Because the difference is, if you start with the most limited tools and products, you have a much more higher sense of what tools and products and equipment you need to speed up your process. Whereas if you have your steamer and extractor and vacuum and air compressor, you're like, okay, I have everything, so I'll use everything every single time. No. So to me, a good piece of advice is, if you have just a brush and towels and APC and a vacuum, that is a great starting point, because from there, you're like, man, if I had this, I could use it there. Okay, I really need that one, right? And if you do 3 or 4 vehicles like that, you're like, man, of all these last 4 vehicles, if I just had a steamer, that would already increase and then you know exactly where to put it, versus trying to use every single little thing because you have everything, right? So for me, I say that you have more, you're forced to use your creative thinking skills when you're more limited on the tools and products versus having everything when you first get started. All right, so next question is, why did I choose detailing as a business? Why did I pursue detailing as a business? So it's gonna be rather simple. I, for some reason, always wanted a business. I remember when I was 14 years old, I was like, man, I can't wait for one day to have my own business and to have my own thing. So where that came from, dude, I don't know, man. It's just an idea that I had since I was a little kid. I didn't, and then I got my personal vehicle, a 2003 Toyota Matrix XRS, back in 2010. So I was 18 at the time, and in 2011, I was like, you know what? I know a little bit of detailing. I can offer this as a service, and that's basically what sprung about it. I was into cars at the time. I was a car enthusiast because I would model my vehicle, which at the time I had 2 part-time 2 minimum wage full-time jobs, and all that money was to go and purchase mods for my vehicle. So it came out of like, I had a passion for cars at the time, and I was like, okay, well, I like cars, I want a business, and then those two just teamed up. Is there anything more than that? No. Like right now, am I passionate about detailing in itself? Like, do I absolutely love every single thing about detailing? Do I wake up and I'm like, man, how do I get better at paint correction? How do I do polishing? I need to learn everything about ceramic coatings. I need to know everything about interior cleaning. No, not at all. But what I am passionate about is building a detailing business that offers great services that the customers are absolutely thrilled to hire and pay for and interact with, and that everyone that works here likes their job and gets compensated fairly, or well, I should say. And everyone has a good time here, and the culture is great, and the you know, and we do fun things together, and it's always fun at work. And so like same thing with like, if we hire someone, I'm not looking for someone that's passionate about detailing. I don't need you to tell me that you've been detailing since you were 4 years old. Like, that doesn't matter. It's like, if you check off everything else, if you're a good worker, you're reliable, you listen, you do well, that's all I need. And yeah, so that's where, like, that's why I chose it. It wasn't because like it's been a long time dream that I wanted a detailing business. No, like, it's not. But I am very passionate about growing a business, about offering great services, about customers absolutely loving the services that we offer. So that, and it's that I'm very passionate about. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It's just, you know, and I think about it like on very, like when I was by myself and I was like, man, this is like, it's 104 degrees. I'm out here working in jeans right now. Like, this sucks. And I'm like, why didn't I choose like accounting or something? Like, why didn't I choose, you know, like if I were to go all over, right? And I'm like, man, I would probably choose like an office job, like an office business to start. Like I had thoughts like, man, like I should have started like an accounting business, like me not being an accountant, just start an accounting business. Like I do the marketing and do all that. Like I set up all the operations and just find accountants to run, you know, to be the actual accountant, and I just run the business itself. Like there have been plenty of times where I was like, man, that'd be so much easier and better and like not labor intensive, right? But that's how it came about. So pretty straightforward. Hold my hand. Next question is, hey, what's the best leather conditioner? What's the best glass cleaner? What's the best pad? What's the best towel? What's the best ceramic coating? What's the best this? What's the best that? Look. The best is whatever gets the job done. And I know people don't like me saying that. They want to be like, well, is it Adams? Is it Shine Supply? Is it Meguiar's? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Dude, it's literally whatever gets the job done, right? So in a graph, right, a vortex, whatever you want to call this, right? There's two extremes. There's the absolute best of the best. There's the absolute worst, right? A majority of all products, assuming you're getting it from a reputable brand, most of the products are gonna fall in the it's a great product, right? Some brands have more products that you have to go through to find the decent ones. Some brands have less product that most of them are gonna be good. But just a majority, if you're getting it from a reputable brand, it's gonna be a good enough product. That's why I don't make review videos. That's why I don't get sponsorships from other brands. Hey Oscar, can we sponsor you to talk about a product? Dude, I don't care about products. That's why I don't get any sponsorship. Like so many, like literally dozens of times, companies have reached out. They're like, hey man, can we pay you to review our product? I'm like, dude, it's a car wash, dude. It's a soap. It's an APC. It's a glass cleaner. Like for instance, like all these here, right? First of all, this is already a much more diluted version of what we had, because we have all of this, and then we had about 3 other bins like this, filled with similar products of wheel cleaners, of compounds, polishes, of degreasers, of leather conditioners, of leather cleaners, across so many brands, and we would use all of them. And guess what? It was always good. It would always work. Like they were all good products. So that's why it's so hard for me to do like product reviews, because it's like, my guy, like a leather cleaner will be a leather cleaner if you're getting it from a reputable source. And then and I really want to hear you guys' opinion on this, okay? I really want to hear what you guys think about this. How do you validate, or how do we validate anything that the brands are saying the product claims? So let's say there is a cure time, whatever, let's say, I don't want to point anyone out specifically, but let's say there's a cure time of 45 minutes, all right? It says a cure time for 45 minutes. For one, I'm never gonna let a wax or sealant sit there for 45 minutes because we don't have time for 45 minutes, right? So how do we know that it's supposed to be 45 minutes to wipe it out? Why isn't it not 30? Why isn't it an hour? And that goes across all claims, across the board, with everything. How do we know? How do we validate? Is there some peer-reviewed studies? Is there some, you know, whatever. And you might say, well, the company does testing. It's like, yeah, the company that claims all this is gonna, you know, there's a little bit of conflict of interest when you're just taking everything that the company says at face value with no other type of backing to back up these claims or whatever it is that they're doing, you know? And it's not like, you know, it's not like a pre-workout or like food where you can look at the back of it, you look at all the ingredients and say, okay, so there's this much this, there's this much that, okay, it has this, oh, I'm not a fan of this little ingredient here, maybe I don't want this one, maybe I'll go with that one. You can actually see what's in there. With this, yes, you can look at the MSDS sheet, you can see what's in there, but it's like, what does that change? You know, like what does it change in terms of like, yes, there's like an eco-friendly versus not, which a lot of that's like kind of a lie, but it's like, what's the difference, right? So my question is, do we take every single last claim that every product claims at face value and believe it with no questioning whatsoever and follow all the steps? Or is there someone at the company like, 45 minutes sounds good, cure time, that sounds about right, okay, that sounds good. Or is it like that? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. All right, so next question is, how much does it cost to start your detailing business? So I wanna preface this with something, all right? Just because you have more money does not mean equates to you being any more successful than someone that has nothing. All right, let me repeat that again. Just because you have more money to start with does not mean to any degree of any sort of any kind that you'll be any more successful than someone that has a quarter of the funds that you have, right? So let's go and look at tech startups that have had 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, $50 million in funding, right, from venture capitalists. And just in over 2, 3, 4 years, they go belly up. They go out of business. Why? If they have $15 million in funding and they can go find the best talent around the world, not just locally, but remotely, right? They have the funds, they have the connections to a board, to advisors, right? How can a business that has great young talent, that can hire from anywhere, that has resources as far as advisors, money, how do they go out of business when they have $10+ million in funding, right? Think about movies, right? A big budget movie film of 15, 20, 25, 30, $40 million. Does each big picture film blow it out of the park as far as doing well at the box office or two, just being a great movie? No, there's plenty of crappy movies that have big budgets, that have A+ player stars, and it turns out to be a crappy movie. Terrible ratings, terrible reviews, it does horrible at the box office, right? So is money the only thing that you need to get started? No. Is it going to be a big factor in how successful you are? No, it's not. It's honestly not. So if you're saying, well, I have $7,000 and you know what, I'm gonna get my trailer and my pressure washer and my generator and my water tank and all this, okay, you can get it, but there's gonna be some other guy or gal that has a quarter of what you have, and they're gonna be far more successful because they're gonna be able to focus on the right levers to pull to get customers and to grow their business. Because what's the most important thing of your business? It's getting paying customers. I don't care that you have a trailer, that it's wrapped, that you have a new van, a truck, that you have a professional grade wrapping on your vehicle. None of that matters. It's, can you get customers? So how much does it cost to start your detailing business? As far as tools and products, not much. I mean, look, if we take a grand look at all of this, right? We're like, wow, he has 4 air movers and 2 big cone sprayers and 1 generator and 1 vacuum and a bunch of chemicals and a spotter. Oh, look, he has an extractor and a light and a bin full of towels and a bin full of batteries. And they have a bunch of functions here. And oh my God, look, they have another vacuum and another air mover and a compressor and a reel and a reel and a reel. And we have all this other crap. But does this mean anything? No, because you don't need to start anywhere in the realm of this. You can literally start with just, not this vacuum, but a vacuum. You can start with an APC cleaner, a bottle of ONR, a few brushes, towels, and you're off to the races. Like, you don't have to spend that much money. And I'm telling you, like, most of you that are looking to start your business and you're looking at all these things that you want to go buy, you probably have way more things than what I did when I first started, and you're probably not getting any customers. So what difference does it make if you have everything versus if you don't have everything? Because you're not getting any customers. So as far as how much does it cost, $300, $200, $500. Not that much. Not that much, because the more important, and it's not about, well, I have to file for my LLC, I have to go get insurance, I need my logo, I need my web. All that is just plain business. You just want to feel like you're in business. The number one thing is go get paying customers. That's it. Go get paying customers. That's how much it costs to start a business. Go get paying customers. All right, and that's gonna end the video right here. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Follow me on Instagram at Detail Groove. I do a lot of Q&As, a lot of lives. I share a lot of things on my story. So on the next Q&A, you can ask your question or just send me a DM. And if it's a good enough question, I might make it into a podcast, the Detailing Business Class podcast, or a story, or an IG post, or I might make a YouTube video over it. So if I reference any tools and products, I'll try to link them down below, but I forget quite a bit of times. And then in the description box down below as well, just find the links to the ultimate guide to start your detailing business, my podcast, the Detailing Business Class podcast, that's on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcast, and anything else that I have down there, just check it out. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.